shit to be up. I need that shit to be up. I need that shit to be shit to be up.
Organized drop bombs. Guerrilla warfare like Vietnam. Elevate the mental into the temple of doom. Consuming maximum capacity, so make room. Organized drop bombs. Guerrilla warfare like Vietnam. Elevate the mental into the temple of doom. Consuming maximum capacity, so make room. Organized.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Hey, friendship family. How you doing? Good. Well, listen, I know it's a beautiful Saturday in Washington, D.C. You could be doing any number of things. And it's the week before Friendship Scholars return for a new school year. But you chose to be here for this very important conversation. And for that, we appreciate it so much. So, for all of you all who are watching us virtually, we have gathered at the Friendship Public Charter School Armstrong campus, and we are here for a very important conversation. Very important conversation. So, you think your child has talent. Who knows their child has talent? Y'all can do better than that. Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. So for those of you all who do not know me, I am Candace Tolliver Burns. I am the host of the Tenacious Teacher podcast, and I am also your host for today's conversation. So before we get started, just a few housekeeping rules. Any phones that are not on silent, please place them on silent because we want to be fully present and in the moment for this conversation. I know that I see a lot of kids out in the audience, so I know that some parents have questions for our guest, and we will have a Q&A session after the conversation, okay? So we are extremely excited because this conversation will be led by two individuals who know a lot about identifying talent, seeing the greatness in young people, developing young people, and building the extraordinary. So the first one I know is very familiar to a lot of you all. I mean, she's our MVP, right? She's the MVP of Friendship Public Charter Schools, okay? She is someone who is celebrated nationally for being an innovator in education. She is someone who is one of 60 individuals nationwide who's been inducted into the Charter School Hall of Fame. She has dedicated her entire career to developing the talents of young people. She is our CEO, the CEO of Friendship Public Charter School, Patricia Brantley. Can we welcome CEO Brantley to the stage? Now, our next guest does not need any introduction, so I'm going to let the video do the talking.
From a small town in Alabama to building one of the most iconic music legacies of our time, Mathew Knowles' story is about more than music. It's about survival, purpose, transformation, and the courage to speak the truth even when it's uncomfortable. Before his groundbreaking entertainment career, Mathew spent nearly 2 decades as a top medical sales executive. At Xerox Medical Systems, he rose through the ranks to become the #1 global sales leader in diagnostic imaging, MRI, CT scanners, and later neurological from a small town in Alabama. Johnson. Dr. Knowles has always dedicated himself to sharing knowledge and empowering others. He's a globally sought-after speaker and a respected thought leader in entrepreneurship, sales, marketing, and brand development. These accolades have garnered countless awards, including the National Speakers Association Master of Influence Award, a prestigious distinction awarded only to the world's top speakers with outstanding global impact. Brands like Mercedes-Benz, Walmart, and Samsung have trusted him to deliver invaluable insights to their employees and partners. Conferences and universities around the world welcomed his empowering messages of innovation and leadership. He is the Presidential Executive in Residence at Prairie View A&M University, and through faculty positions at Pepperdine University and the London College of Contemporary Music, he helps uplift the next generation of leaders and creatives. His best-selling book, The DNA of Achievers, 10 Traits of Highly Successful Professionals, continues to inspire readers globally. But behind the awards and spotlights, there's a deeper story of resilience and purpose. Mathew is a male breast cancer survivor and passionate advocate for early detection. He now uses his platform to help save lives and empower men and women from all backgrounds to take control of their health. As a global brand ambassador for Zero Prostate Cancer, he challenges stigma and educates communities. But most of all,
like them boys up top from the BK.
He produced and managed over 100 award-winning albums across multiple genres, helping to define an entire era of popular music. Mathew Knowles was the driving force behind Destiny's Child, Beyoncé, Solange, and dozens of other record-breaking artists. He sold over 450 million records, generated billions in revenue, redefined leadership and entertainment, and helped shape a generation of talent. One thing has remained constant: Dr. Mathew Knowles' commitment to making a difference. From humble beginnings to worldwide success, he continues to lead, teach, inspire, and empower, proving that success means finding your true potential. Ladies and gentlemen, Mathew Knowles.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. There we are. How is everyone doing? I'm going to take a look at everyone first and just say good afternoon and thank you for coming out. You didn't have to be here, but you are. So how are you
And
this
thank
morning?
you for coming out. It is a pleasure, a pleasure, a pleasure, as
Thank you.
always, as always. Thank you to our host, Candace Tolliver Burns, that most of you know from our Tenacious Teacher broadcast, where we are always looking at the teachers that help to inspire our children. But today we get to think about those children, about their talents, their interests, their passions, their purpose. You know, for me, I have helped to lead schools here in Washington, D.C. for more than 30 years. And so I have seen talent unrivaled across the city and in our schools. And it always strikes me that we have athletes and artists and academically talented and gifted children. Today, we have kids at Ivy League schools. We have an internationally ranked tennis star, number 5 in the world for youth. We've got players. Yeah, we got to applaud that one. We got to applaud that one. We have athletes that are in the NFL, and I'm glad to see our football coach here today and our trainer. And so I think about all the talent and this conversation. So you think your child has talent? Well, we know that they do. But when your child has talent, that means you have a job. And so talking to someone who has inspired, developed, found more talent. We heard your reel. You are amazing. And so the conversation today is really directed toward parents. It is directed toward people who want to see their most precious gifts, their children, really amplify their talents. And so I'd like to ask you, just starting, what do you hope to get out of the conversation today? What do you hope our parents get?
Well, first, I want it to be a conversation. I can't wait for your questions that you raised today. But I'm really excited to be here because this has been a topic, because I'm a motivational speaker and I speak on multiple topics. This is one I've always wanted to speak on. I had a chance once, maybe 20 years ago, and actually in Vegas to talk about this. It's challenging as we get into the conversation, what's really required. And that's what I want to get out today is just knowledge to the parents of what's really required. I keep it real. I don't sugarcoat it. You might get uncomfortable, and then I know I've done my job if I make you uncomfortable.
Well, here's what's interesting. We had a conversation, I guess it's been a couple of months ago now, and I thought children have talents and their parents, all the things that they should do with them. And you say, you know, you said, Pat, if my child had been interested in, I'm paraphrasing, animals, I probably would have bought a zoo. If they were interested in medicine, they would have had access to a hospital. And you said, I knew when it came to the practices and the rehearsals and the tutoring and the other things, that when my children ran to the door to go to it, as opposed to me having to wake them up, that was the thing that they needed to pursue. Mm-hmm. And so there's a difference between your child having interest and talent and the parent sort of pushing for it. And that to me said there's a difference between a child's passion and a parent's dream. And I wonder if you would just comment on that to frame for our parents in the audience, what does it mean to think about your child's passion versus your own dreams?
Wow, that's a lot, isn't it? So I purposely didn't look at the questions because I like to really just come from a place of being authentic about it. I want to just add to that. What I said was if my kids wanted to be doctors, they would first have to go to school and go to medical school and graduate because the knowledge part of it is critical. But as a third generation entrepreneur, then I would correctly, as you said, look to go buy them a hospital. Just like when they got in the music industry, I started a record label and a management company. This entertainment. I can speak about music, and I don't talk about things that I'm really not an expert in. But I can tell you this music and how Beyonce, she's the oldest, and then Solange followed. Me and my former wife, Tina, we would take her and her sister to all aspects. We would take them to NASA, which is in Houston. We would take them to the library. We would take them to a dance recital. We would take them to a symphony. We would take them to sports games. And we kind of sit back and was quiet and observed what their interest was. I have to say, I'm not a fan of parents who say my kid's going to be this when they grow up. I'm not a fan of parents who do that. I've taught for 20 some years. Unfortunately, I get a lot of students because I teach the music industry in a digital age. I get a lot of students who are in their late 20s who are sad that their parents made them do something, and that's really not what they wanted to do in life. That was not their passion. And I caution any parent that's going to say, this is what my kid is going to do without recognizing that's your kid's passion. Like you said it. That's the foundation of all of this. Let it be your kid's passion. Expose them. And then once you see what that is, then you surround them. And once we saw Beyonce and Solange, music was their thing, then we surrounded them. And they got in a dance troupe and they got into vocal lessons. But I always say, I have never, ever had to tell Beyonce to go to practice. Never one time, her or Solange, in their whole life. They're bugging me, Daddy, we got to practice tomorrow. Because that's the fundamental key. We could talk another hour, but if you have to remind your kid, practice this tomorrow, it's a hobby. That's the key. We can stop right there. If you gotta say, hey, Bob, you got practice in the morning, it's okay to have a hobby, but just know it's a hobby. And it might develop, but know at this point it's a hobby. And that's okay.
Well, the world is glad that you recognize it was more than a hobby, that it was actually a passion and the talent. And obviously, we've all benefited from the talents of your daughters. So thank you. But you said something really important. You talked about exposure, and I want to make sure people hear it. NASA, going out, getting your kids into museums. You've got to surround your kids with so many things so that they can discover what they love. And then you can surround them with the other things that will help them with the support that they need. And that's part of my...
I have to interrupt you because I'm just ADD and I'm thinking because you may bringing up a lot of things for me. And I don't know, I remembered when Beyonce was in the 4th grade. And Beyonce was good, average in math. It was a difficult subject for her. And I personally was really good in math. And Tina, we had the hair salon. So I was with the kids especially on the weekends, and did their homework with them. And I was okay as a parent that she was giving her best, her very best, and got a C+ in math. And her math teacher said to me, I don't know why y'all are wasting this time with Beyonce and this music thing. It's never gonna go anywhere. Why are y'all wasting time on that? Well, her son has now worked for Solange 22 years. Her son, that she told us, and teachers, be careful how you communicate with young kids. It could really destroy them. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, but I'm so glad that you did. First, to get the vision of you helping your children with their homework and fourth grade math, and a parent who's good at math also helping a child, but also recognizing that sometimes the messaging from teachers. And so I want to delve into that a little bit, because we run schools and we do see a lot of talent, but we also expect children to walk in a certain path, to do a certain thing, and that school is the most important thing. What is your message for schools and teachers when a child is discovering what they are interested in? What are the words, or what can we say to help be that inspiration?
Well, I'm glad today we have, instead of STEM, we have STEAM, because back in the day, I'm 74 years old, and so Beyonce will be on September 4th, 45 years old. So we're going back 40 years. Schools were different,
Yes.
than they are today. Technology is different. It's all about encouragement to a young child, and also let them make mistakes. I remember vividly, I was sitting back when the video came out, and I got this vision of Beyonce and her first cousin, Ebony, in the park. They were running, and Beyonce fell. And I looked at her and I said, get up, baby. This is what life is going to be sometimes. You're going to fall sometimes. You just get back up and run as hard as you can. And you might not win this race, but you gave it your best. And that's the encouragement that I believe in personally. I do it still today, 25 years, 24 years later in the classroom with older young people.
Whatever the age, people need encouragement.
Yeah.
What I'm glad about at Friendship is we do a lot in exposure, and we celebrate children for growing, for trying, because maybe everyone isn't number one, but you have moved and you keep moving, and that's part of life and being part of life.
Right.
So I'm thinking about a child with talent, and I'm thinking about a parent that recognizes that their child has a passion, something they're really interested in. But families don't often always have the framework for what they do next. So what's your top 3 things that you would say to a parent that has really recognized that the child has more than an interest, they've got a passion and a talent, and they're in the 4th or 5th or 6th or even in high school? What's your advice?
Yeah, and I think that's very important, the age.
Yes.
Because how we, with a first grader, and how we would approach that answer with a maybe 10th grader would be different. But I would say to a parent, once you've identified, and you certainly are sure it's not you inside, that it's really what they are passionate about, then you begin to get information as a parent. And I use music, what I know. You begin. I personally went back to college, and I took music classes, like business classes,
to help your children and to advance in it.
So I could understand the industry more. I was like where you're sitting. I didn't know the music industry 40 years ago. I didn't know much about it. So if that was going to be her passion and interest, it was important that I at least understood something about it, what my kids' passion and dream is. So I think that's really, really important, because as you begin to get this knowledge, you'll understand how tremendously, again, I'm speaking music, how tremendously difficult it is to be successful in music. And I think it's pretty true in sports or any other things in life. The failure rate in music is almost 99% failure rate. And as a parent, you need to know that going in, what you're really up against and how this industry works. Because if we're working with young kids like Destiny's Child were, they were teenagers. They started this, actually, Beyonce started this on Star Search at 9 years old. You have to understand that the music industry is a business. And as you are a parent, you got to understand that that music industry is thinking profitability.
Mm.
And I think it's odd that some of the best stars in music, Taylor Swift parents managed her. Michael Jackson's parents managed him and the Jacksons. That some of the most successful in the history of music, their parents were around.
What an important message, though, for parents. And that was one of the questions I wanted to get to. And you said you studied, you learned, you went back to school. But there's a framework for support. It's how you structure your household. It's thinking about the schedule of the day. Take us back. Beyonce's 9 years old. She's going on Star Search. You have your younger daughter. How did you structure your time and your day so that you could invest in making sure that they had the framework, the support that was necessary?
Well, fortunately for us, you know, I was in sales, so I had flexibility in my schedule, and that really helped. Everybody didn't have that flexibility in scheduling, but it was more than that. I think for Beyonce and Solange, they were in a household where their dad was the #1 sales rep in the world, that mom owned, and I owned the #1 hair salon in Houston. In 1988, made our first $1 million. So they got to see we were very vocal about our failures and successes. So they grew up in a different environment that I think was maybe more anomaly than most environments that they grew up in.
But helpful to let your children see the challenges so
Right.
they know to keep striving. But that does make me think, you've seen lots of young people go into this business. And so you've seen some with parental support and some without. But a parent that may not have an understanding of the business and they've got to reach out to other people to help them, what would you tell them to look for in those advisors, lawyers, representatives,
Right.
so that you know that it's the child's interests that are at heart?
So I want to answer that, but I want to also say this. A lot of people think the music industry, and they come up and say, my kid can really sing. That's not the most important thing in the music industry. I'm going to just tell you the real. We don't care if you can sing. That would be like saying my kid can can make a layup. Like, really? Like, that's special? You can make a layup? So you got to know this industry. It's not about, if you are a vocalist, it's not about singing. It's about entertaining. Beyonce didn't never say, Daddy, I want to be a singer. She said, Daddy, I want to be an entertainer. So I want to say that because a lot of parents get confused because their kid can sing, that's the criteria for getting into the music industry. Beyonce can sing her heart out and have a whack song, it equals whack.
Mm.
So you have to have this amazing team, to your question. Songwriters, producers, managers, the right record label. Every state is different in terms of the laws. Texas, you have to get court approved differently than California. So you have to not get just an attorney, but an entertainment attorney. So you have to know all of these things that are needed and necessary for a child. Tutoring, how does that work? Because as the record label, they're not really concerned about your child's education. Again, it's a business. They have investors. They have other people on a label. And if you are very difficult, regardless of how talented, a lot of parents have cost their kids record deals because the parents didn't understand the industry. And very emotional sometimes parents get.
And it's the
I'm just
children.
keeping it real for y'all guys.
We do
I
understand
told
why
y'all I was
people
gonna
get
keep it real
emotional,
for you.
but this is an important point. I've I think about, we have an award-winning, just a winning football team. And shout out to our coach, Michael Hunter, who's actually right here. He's actually right here. He's in the audience. He's in the audience.
Congratulations, Coach.
The coach prior to him, though, left us and went to Alabama. And he came back to coach. He came back to visit, and he brought the playbook. It had to be 600 pages. And he dropped it on a table in front of kids, and he said, you think that you just have raw talent and it's about passing the ball. You have to study this, and you have to know it. And you have to get along with the coaches because they're going to want to play with you. And he talked a lot about the personality and the character that you needed. And sometimes I think that the world thinks talent means you don't have to get along with people, right? You don't have to show up in the room. And so I think it's an important point to make to parents that you have to make sure that your child can be in the room, that you're not so difficult that opportunity gets lost. And I would love for you to say another one about that.
You know, Columbia Records, they had Mariah Carey, they had John Legend. I could go on and on. And if they line through Destiny's Child, nobody say, oh man, we can't. We're going to close Sony Music because we don't have. It doesn't work like that. I gotta ask this though. Did you say coach that?
So our prior coach went to Alabama to coach. Yes.
Okay, because I'm from Gaston, Alabama, and my basketball coach went to Alabama. I was a pretty good basketball player and played at the University of Tennessee, and then at Fisk. So sports really helped me in leadership and teamwork. So I transferred that to my kids also, the importance of teamwork. It's not I, it's we. So I know I digress, but I'm ADD.
Not digress though, but also important for parents to understand. We have absolutely individually talented students, but until they work together as a team, we don't win.
Right.
But we do win because they do work together as a team. And the one thing that I'm always proud of when I think about Friendship's football team, and there are a couple of videos and an ESPN short about us, is that when you talk to the young men on that team, they talk about it being a brotherhood. They talk about it. And so I think it is important for parents to understand that people around you, yes, you've got the professional people, the teachers, the coaches, the et cetera. If you really get into the NFL, you're going to have that legal and other team around you, but also the other individuals around you, that's critically important. And Destiny's Child, of course, was a group. And so being able to curate the people around your children, including their friends, is critically important. So thank you for reminding us of that.
And Beyonce, Kelly, and Michelle are best friends today. They're best of friends. And that's important. That's important.
I went to New York to see Death Becomes Her. And the week before, they talked about Beyonce being in the audience because Michelle was on the stage. And think about just how incredible that is, that these friendships that last across a lifetime that also help to sustain you.
Okay, you just opened up something for me. I'm going to take this opportunity. Tomorrow, 4:30 and 6:30 is the Destiny's Child Iconic Reimagined Tribute with String Quintet. I am giving you and one other person, come to the door at the 4:30 or the 6:30, and I'm giving you free tickets to it. It's an experience that most people in this room have never had, and I talk about, because it's not just about the music, it's the story behind every song. So thank you for
I will be on the first row, so you can look out for me. I will be right there.
They pay highly for the first row, but we can certainly
I'm going to bump my way in there. I'm going to bump my way in there because I know that it's going to be incredible. Yeah. A string quartet, the most iconic music in the land. I mean, it's going to be fantastic. And I hope you take advantage of this offer that we have. So let's talk about mistakes that parents make. What would you say are the most common mistakes that a parent might make if they have a child that is really starting to break through?
The last part about to break through?
About to break through.
About to break through.
Yes, about to break through.
Okay. Again, I think probably the most common mistake, I've said it, is that they interfere with the coaches or with the label and they get very emotional and not understanding the business part of it. That turns off people that says, we'll move to the next person because that parent didn't understand how the industry worked. So I know I'm repeating
so
myself.
Understanding the industry,
critically
recognizing there might
important.
always be a next person.
Yes.
That talent may be big, it may be strong, but maybe it's not as unique as there's someone else there.
You know, in the music, it's singing, also imaging. You know, especially if you're a female, imaging is critically important. And so it's a combination of things, not just the ability to sing.
So this is important because now we live in an age where your image can be online and public 24 hours a day. How should families think about protecting their child's image as they're getting into their teens and into their early 20s? What advice do you have for thinking about your child's image?
Yeah. So when I went back to college, one of the courses I took was public speaking because we did artist development. And I understood as a salesperson that when you're selling yourself or a product, the first thing that a person that's buying, they buy you first. And we have a thing called the 3-second rule. When I came up those steps, y'all formed an opinion of me. And that's the same opinion for the most part you have now. 3 seconds you have to do that. So it's important to be able to communicate effectively in all aspects of life. And so we worked on that. Again, it's a team of people. We had a woman come from Atlanta that would also work with development and how to communicate effectively. And Tina did an exceptional job on imaging Destiny's Child. Most people don't even realize that the Jackson 5, that Mrs. Jackson did the same thing, and she doesn't get credit for it. She came up with the images of the Jackson 5.
It's the first time I've heard that.
If you look at the movies, they literally spend about 30 seconds on it. And you'll miss it if you're not paying attention to it. But the point is, there have been a lot of parents that's been involved with their kids' careers in a positive way.
I like your imagery that you gave us about the 3-second rule, because a lot of times before you even open your mouth, people are making a judgment about who you are. So it is the physical image, but it's also being able to express what it is that's on your mind and what you have to say, and to do it in a way that people can accept.
Yeah, it's a lot to be successful. I mean, you have to understand the international market. You have to understand distribution. It's just so much. And I'm learning, and I've been in the industry 30 plus years. It's just a lot of moving parts. And so when you see your child and you realize that's their passion is so important, because what coexists with passion are work ethics. Because if you're not passionate about something, you won't follow through and do the work that's required. It takes work to be the best in sports. You pay a sacrifice as a kid. There's a sacrifice, the kid. Do you think Sony cared about the education of Destiny's Child?
I think you cared about the education of Destiny's Child, and I think you made sure that that education actually happened, and provided an example, because you said you went back to school, which is a question that I have. Some parents do feel like they have to choose academics and education, or arts and athletics, whatever the talent is. How would you counsel a family when they're really feeling like those things are in conflict?
This is probably the most difficult question, because I have to give you my perspective. Beyonce nor Solange ever graduated from high school. Beyonce is a billionaire. Jay-Z never graduated from high school. He's a billionaire. Solange is an exceptional songwriter. She generates $300 to $400 million a year. But knowledge-wise, they are educated because they've seen the world. and that's been their education. They are avid readers. That has been their education. And it's because that's a difficult decision. Well, I got to finish because I want people with mothers and fathers to hear that's a difficult decision, because to be the best in music, education takes a back seat. It does. Because you have to put in this work that's so enormous. And that's a decision that a parent has to also buy into.
But there's a difference between education, skills, and the paperwork. And so even as I listened to what you said, you talked about Solange being an excellent songwriter, so she can write. She can take creative ideas and put them on paper and put them into people's hearts. Beyonce is a reader. And so the thing that I want families to understand, the paper isn't always the thing. It's the skill. It is having children who love to read, who understand a contract, who can move forward and know how to pick people that can help them to do that. And so I think that's a critical part of what I would hear. And so we can't have our children go out in the world without any skills, and we have to make sure that they get it.
But I just want to make clear, because a lot of parents say, no, my child's going to get their degree and they're going to graduate. And that's that difficult choice to be the best at something. You might have to give that piece of it up. Right. And that's the paper that you're talking about.
Yes, I would say give up the paper. Yeah. Let's make sure all of our children read, because ultimately, without the ability to write, we would not have the greatest gift of Solange's songs. Yeah. And so that is certainly a gift. You know, we are coming to the point where we actually get to hear some questions from our parents and maybe a child or two that's in the audience. And so I wonder if there's a question that I haven't asked you yet that you just want to say, here's the one thing that I wish you had asked.
Well, about failure. You know, failure, I have always thought, and it's going to happen in anything in life a child goes through. Remember Beyonce fell, right? And my response was, get up, this is a life lesson. I look at failure and mistakes as opportunities to grow, to modify, adapt, to become better. And normally I speak a lot, and I always end with, I was going down LAX escalator years ago, and this nun from Mexico had a jar that said, please give, and I did, and she gave me a card. I finally read it, and I normally end with this. It said, pray not for a life free from trouble. As parents, we often pray, oh boy, I don't know nothing bad. That's unrealistic. Some bad stuff gonna happen to you, kid. Pray not for a life free from trouble. Pray for triumph over trouble. For what you and I, and as parents, call adversity, Allah, God, whatever name you use, what you and I call adversity, God calls opportunity. That's the thing in life that we often miss, that we're going to make. I've certainly made mistakes and had failures. Those have been opportunities for me to become a better person, a better parent, a better man. That's really, from my perspective, life. It's not going to be peaches and cream all the time. And I've taught my kids that.
Critical perspective. We talk in our schools about grit and perseverance. Yeah. You have to get up, you have to keep going. And also important for families to make sure your kids understand failure isn't the end unless you just decide to sit it out. Right. As long as you keep going. We're going to turn it to Candace so we can get our questions.
Wasn't that amazing? I'm sure if you're like me, you took lots of notes, your phone recorder was on, right? And I know you have a lot of questions. CEO Brantley, thank you so much for speaking to the importance of really thinking about the skills that students and young people need now and developing the best of them in terms of that. Dr. Knowles, thank you so much for talking about building that success and persistent mindset. We've got a lot of educators and parents in the room, and I know they've got questions. So I'm going to start on this end. What do you think? Okay. All right. Please share your name and ask your question.
Hello, I'm Tawanda Clemens. This is my daughter Oriana, and my question was, how do you encourage your child to step from behind the scenes and shine due to fear of what people might think or say when you know she can do it?
Okay. Will you repeat that one more time, please?
How do you encourage your child to step from behind the scenes and shine when you know she can do it due to fear what others might say or think, or just, feeling like shy?
Yeah, and Solange was never shy, but Beyonce still is shy. But when she gets on that stage, she's Sasha Fierce. And sometimes we put her in a situation where she had to feel uncomfortable. And that's the way she got better at it, is putting her in a position like, look, why don't you consider, reading this in the play or something? But also, let me share with you, in middle school, Beyonce had transferred to a different middle school, and the teacher in arts did not give her the leading role or the second leading role. She actually was a tree, literally. Beyonce Knowles, #1 artist in the world, was a tree in the play. Now, rather than saying this teacher didn't know what she was doing, you know what I said to Beyonce? Beyonce, I want you to be the best tree there ever been. Now, some parents would have been like, oh, I want to talk. I didn't do that. I said, no, babe, let's be the best tree. And she did. She had the personality, and people, oh. So hopefully that's an answer for you. You have to sometimes put them in that position that they might feel.
I'm going to add, put them in that position early. Yeah. I took the job as CEO of Friendship, which required me to go out in front of an audience of a few thousand people, and they literally had to drag me to the stage. Now it's a few years later, and I'm like, give me the mic. Where is it? But your child can do it, but they have to be exposed, and you have to let them step out, because the fear eventually is something you can manage, even if it doesn't subside. And we want to see your child on that stage at a Friendship campus. So we'll be looking for you and giving you opportunities to shine.
And let me applaud you for being here, because you could be doing something else today, but you are here because you care. I mean,
yes, thank you all.
You should get applause for that. Yeah.
I think we have our next question from Friendships. Do you mind if I give you a little introduction? This is Friendships. This is Bielka Scott Marcus. She is the Chief Academic Officer for the Friendship Schools Network.
Thank you, Candace, and thank you so much, Mr. Knowles. I'm here with my son, so today I'm a parent as well. I penned a couple questions, but you've kind of answered a few of them, but I want to kind of double down a little bit on this sort of idea of a child that may be academically as talented as they are athletically, and sometimes feeling like they need to make a choice in terms of where they focus their energy, whether that be in school or on the field, on the court, whatever that might look like for them. So I'm here with my son, who is going to be 13 in September. Of course, he's acting like he's shy, but he is an athlete. He's an avid baseball player, and very successful in that actual sport that he has selected. But he's also academically just as talented. So my question is, when a young person has this sort of dual talent, if you will, what and how can they pursue excellence in multiple areas without feeling like their identity or future depends on being the best at just one of those entities?
So again, this is just my perspective. It doesn't make it right or wrong. I encourage in my classroom different perspectives. So I'm just giving my perspective. My perspective in success is, again, for example, the music industry. A reason of failure often for artists is that they're doing way too many things, and they're not focused on becoming really, really good. I don't use the word good in my household and classroom, I use the word great. I want the bar to be, we're going to be the greatest in the world at this. I've always been embarrassed in those households. But to be the greatest in the world, you have to focus on that one thing. A lot of artists, for example, they want to own a record label, they want to have merchandise, but you haven't mastered your one craft yet that allows you to now, because you have an audience, now I have somebody to sell merchandise to. Now I can have a record label. So my thing is, that's a tough decision. It's not an easy decision, but you have to focus, in my perspective, on one thing first and getting that right. And then you have the other, regardless of which one you pick, now you can bring that into the fold now. That's just my perspective again.
Thank you.
Now he's saying, Mom.
He knows what he likes. He knows. If we asked him what he was going to choose, you don't have to answer right now. Would you have an answer, son? Yeah, he would have an answer.
Well, see, he already knows.
He already knows. He already
Good for
knows.
you, young man.
So what I hope that those who are watching us virtually will know is that we are all again in the Friendship Armstrong campus. Friendship has a dynamic arts program across all 15 schools, but you see they're on stage, they're in an auditorium, because the Armstrong School has such a rich and wide depth of arts offerings. So our next person that I'm going to hand the mic to is Tariana Duran. She's the director of our Arts Integration Program.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good
Thank you
afternoon.
for being here. My question is centered around something that you are well versed in, which is how the music industry has changed over the years. And we're in a day and age where it's social media, it's AI, it's streaming. What are key strategies or steps that a parent should take to get their child noticed or in a posture of being the next best thing and to be a successful artist?
A great question, and congratulations on the work you're doing. The first thing, again, is knowledge. If someone here don't understand basic fundamentals of what AI is and how it can assist us, then you can go online and get educated and knowledgeable. You know, I write some of my best emails through AI.
Okay.
Some of my best emails. They sound great. But you're right, the world is changing, and we have to be aware that how every aspect of our lives. I was in Bologna 3 months ago. It was 20,000 people, maybe 4 Americans. I saw things in medicine and education and the workplace that will blow your mind. That's right around the corner. That's going to change how we do everything. So we have to become knowledgeable of that. And you're right, this is a digital age. I see it a positive. I don't see it. A lot of people like AI is getting rid of jobs. I see it a different light, that it's opportunity for us to even advance even further. I think it's important to understand the world is much larger than America. And 63% of all records sold by Destiny's Child was outside of America. We only have 300 some million people in America versus 7 some billion people in the world. So I think you have to be aware of the world, which is why I named my company Music World Entertainment. That was purposely. So yes, it's changing, but I see it again in a positive light. Thank you.
And CEO Brantley, we're going to take about 2 more questions, I believe. But I have to.
How can we do 3?
Well, listen, we can keep going. But I have to say too, Tariana's voice is magnificent. No, seriously. She has a voice like a songbird.
Yes.
I hope you don't mind me saying that. Okay, I'm going to pass the mic.
Well, let me hear it. Let's hear it. She's got a voice like that.
No, we don't have one little bar.
You can connect, Al.
Okay.
Tariana, come on. Give us a few seconds.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to sing a song that I know Beyonce sang before, but this was like my signature song growing up.
Okay.
That I did all my competitions and won off this song. So. When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home. I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. When that makes the tall grass bend into leaning, suddenly the raindrops that fall, they have a meaning, sprinkling the scene makes it all clean.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was beautiful, by the way. Great job. That's always touching to me, that song, because it reminds me that when Beyonce, she won talent shows on that was her signature song when she was 8, 9, 10 years old. But again, as a parent, she didn't know the meaning of that at 8 years old. Singing is about emotions. So what did I do? I have a photo, a homeless white man pushing a cart from the grocery store with all the things he owned. And I said, Beyonce, let's go over, let's say hello to him and give him a hug. And she did. And then we went to Third Ward and some of the row houses. And I just pulled up the car. This big mama was on the porch with a little baby and hole on the floor of the porch. And I said, ma'am, I want my daughter to understand this song and what life is about. And we sat there and she got some water. And then I said, let's go to the Hispanic neighborhood in Houston. And they were having a party. I just pulled up little kids and I said, you mind my kid come and meet your kids? She's really not been exposed to the Hispanic community. That's the things that I did as a parent, so that she would never sing a song. She would feel the emotions of a song. Those are the things that parents that want to help their kids out, that might seem small, but as a result, Beyonce, always you feel the emotions inside of her for those little small things.
I know we're in Q&A and this isn't our continued conversation, but it is not just preparing your child for when they go up on the stage in 2 months. It is the day-to-day experiences where you're helping to expose them, connect them to what they're doing, making it go deeper. And thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, because I know times are the essence, unless you say differently, I'm going to pass the mic back here. And we're going to pass the mic to you all, please.
Dr. Knowles, thank you for being here. My name is John Glover. I'm going to do my best to make a good impression by not singing for you today. I'm the Chief of External Affairs here at Friendship. I'm also the dad of a 6-year-old and 8-year-old, 2 daughters. And I don't know that I know what their passions are yet. You have been great at many things. Your family is great at many things. And as a result, you have been around entertainers, athletes, business leaders who are all exceptional at what they do. So for somebody who doesn't yet know what their children's passions are, what do you see commonly across all of those exceptional people in terms of their character traits, in terms of their values, that you think somebody like me should be trying to instill in my children, so no matter what they are passionate about?
Great question. I think one of them is understanding you have to start when they're young. If you look at all the successful athletes, music, that one thing, and I'll talk about a couple more, they started this around 5, 6 years old. Malcolm Gladwell, some of you might know, the writer, author, Outliers, he talks about to be the best at it requires you doing it 10,000 hours. And so that's become important. And again, you just kind of step back, and as you expose them to these things, and you just kind of watch and see the joy or lack of joy. So I believe that early years is critically important. And I said it also, get involved in the knowledge of the thing that you see your child is passionate about. You know, it could be dance. I don't know a lot about dance, but I ask and ask what is this dance thing like, you know. And so get involved with that, and don't be afraid to say you don't know. That's important. That's why you're here today. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Onara Jackson, and while I do have the pleasure of being a part of the Friendship Network, I'm absolutely a parent of a Friendship student. And my question is a little different than John's. So I have multiple children, and I have that one child who just is great at everything, but he's not a self-starter in the way that he maintains. And so I find myself spending an abundance of money doing multiple things because he wants to sing and dance and play football and tennis and hockey. How do you help your child zone in when they're really good at a lot of things, but you don't want to make it your dream, yet keep it their passion?
Yeah, it kind of goes to the question that was asked earlier, that I find a lot of failure when you're doing all those things. I mean, I think as a parent, sometimes you have to be firm, and a child at 5, 6, 7, they don't really quite understand this passion thing yet. So you have to help develop them, and you have to make sometimes influence that decision. Like, baby, you know, we got to pick one of these 5 things. Which one would it be for you? If there's only one of these things you could do, which one would it be? And then just kind of be quiet and let them answer it. I think we have to be forward thinking sometimes with kids when they're young, and 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, because they will be all over the place. I know I was. And you have to say, you've got to pick one, because we can't do them all. I want you to be the best at one, and then we'll consider doing the other one. Well, before we end, I have one thing I wanted to do.
Okay.
Are we about to end?
No, we're not.
Oh, good. Good.
How can I assist, if anything?
There's a box somewhere.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I sometimes do this, and sometimes I don't. Today, I just feel like doing it. If you don't mind, it's an exercise that I enjoy doing.
Well, we have appreciated all that you have told us. So we will take anything more that you would like to give. If it's on your heart, we would like to see it.
Well, thank you. And by the way, isn't she amazing?
Thank you.
I see why you guys are doing well.
Listen, the people in this audience bring us their most precious beings every day for school. And so we are just so grateful for them. And it is my pleasure to make sure that they have the schools that they need.
That's great.
Schools that they need. Yeah.
I get so much joy out of the classroom.
Yeah. And we're so glad to have someone, to have you come and speak to our parents. I mean, this has really been a terrific hour for us.
Okay,
they're bringing it. You can do the setup. Okay. It's coming.
No, we'll ask another question. You have me thinking.
I know you got a question. I know you have a good question.
I want you to go.
Yes, you do.
Oh, wait. Oh. Now, this question is by someone that has helped to do Gifted and Talented at Friendship. So I can't wait to hear your question.
Oh, the pressure. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. And I'm Lucretia Anderson. I'm actually a school leader here at the Friendship Armstrong, as well as a Friendship parent. And my ask is, what should the adults, teachers, family that are around the gifted or exceptionally talented scholars be cognizant of? What should we be paying attention to outside of their talents and their extraordinary gifts?
Oh, wow. Outside of their talent, extraordinary gift. I, again, will talk about Beyonce. Outside of her talent and extraordinary gift, she's a really good person. And people ask me what am I most proud of, and it's the fact that she's really a good person. Have you ever read anything in the media that Beyonce did or said something stupid? Think about it. You have never in her career. She's a really good person, loving person, caring person. That I'm most proud of. And how do we help develop that? Sometimes by example. I like to keep it very simple life. Our kids are watching us. They are watching us. They might not say anything, but they're watching you. Are they saying one thing and doing another? So that would be my answer to that.
Character matters.
Yeah.
Kindness matters.
Yeah. Not Solange, just the elevator incident. I'll jack you up.
We're Solange fans here, so you don't have to worry about that.
We said that you can have a
do
moment
not have to worry
and you
about
need to recover, right? You can have a moment and you move past it.
Right.
So,
I'll tell you the most beautiful song tomorrow night will be a Solange song.
all right.
Cranes in the sky.
You gotta come.
Okay. All right.
So you've got a surprise for us
Hmm?
here. You got a surprise for us
You
here.
have something else.
Okay.
Big red box.
Here we go. So we're gonna put this right here. Normally I do this thing, I fortunately wrote a book called The DNA of Achievers,
That's
10
right.
Traits of Highly Successful Professionals. And the last trait I have in that book, and I think is very important, is thinking outside of the box. Now, the box is a little too high, and I don't want a lawsuit, and so I'm not going to ask anybody. I traditionally ask 2 people to get in this box, but it's a little too high. We don't want to do that.
We have 2 young people right in the audience. It
think
looks
you
like
can
they
get in
have
this
good
box?
knees.
You
on,
think
say
you
it.
can get in this box?
Come on. Yes.
I don't know.
Yes,
I
yes,
mean,
yes,
it's a
we
high
do.
box.
Come on, clap them up. Come on, friends. Yes.
So I'm glad just one came, because normally that's what I do. I ask one person to come up, and I'm going to come. Let's help her together,
right.
because this is a
All
high.
right, Mama.
This is a high box. It didn't look high down there, but it's a high box. All right. And then I asked, and what's your name again, please?
Listen. Yes.
And I asked, pick someone in this room that you would like to get in this box with you. And in this case, it's got to be somebody that can physically get in the box. That might eliminate half the room.
Come on,
Okay.
Oriana. Yes.
Come on. And so the life lesson here is that most people are box-in thinkers. Box-in thinkers. First, we're going to help you get in this
Oriana's
box.
tall.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
see, I got you. And so the question is, why did you pick her to come in the box with you?
So, well, to start, I know her. My daughter and her were in the same dance team. Met with her mom a few times because we competitions, but to also hear her say what she wants for her as a parent as well. I want the best for my daughter. She
Well,
just graduated.
good.
So this is a start,
So again, in this exercise is, why did someone pick out of the room somebody get in a box with them? And the answer is, and I use this, if you're a hater, you want a hater in your box. That's who you want, another hater. We've been conditioned, think about it, by media, especially in this era today, social media. We've been conditioned to be box-in thinkers, to do it just because that's the way they say it should be done. Not challenging or asking, why do we do it this way? Just do it that way. Box-in thinkers. We are really, in America, conditioned to be box-in thinkers. We just do it that way. And so we, again, get people like ourselves in the box. Now, where's the gentleman? I need your help. This brother is sharp. His brother stopped. He told me his story. He used to be a student and came back
that's
to
right.
help. So I just want to make sure nobody falls. So I want you to walk around in that box, and we're gonna hold it. You stay in the box, but y'all move around. We're gonna make sure. I'm gonna ask you a question. All right, stop. What did you experience in this box? When y'all walked around in it.
But it was enough space for both of us to navigate.
But did it have walls? Are there walls in this box? Can you walk the whole stage in this box? No, you can't, right? So box in thinkers, that's how their day-to-day life is. With people like themselves, and they're hitting walls all day long. And it's hard to navigate. But if I said, get out of the box, I gotta hold your hand. So let's do it one at a time. Safety first. Hand. And now I say, walk around this stage. Just walk around.
Come on, hello, friends. Hello, guys.
All right. So once you get out of this box in thinking and start to think outside the box, that's what it means. You don't constrain yourself and let society tell you you have to do it this way. And you challenge and say, maybe let's try it another way, because I don't have any walls now. I don't have anything constraining me. That's what thinking outside of the box is. And I like to illustrate that because most people have never really seen it. We say things, but to actually see it now it comes differently to you, how you think about it. And when you hear that word, think outside of the box, you are now, from this day forward, you will remember this exercise of what thinking outside of the box means. And that's what educators, that's what we do. And we do it well. Unapologetically. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the box. Beautiful box. Glad we didn't have like Walmart, Panasonic.
You all, something on the side.
Well, I think we were concerned for a minute, but it all worked out.
It all worked out.
I know you held your breath.
It all worked out. So at Friendship, we have a few phrases that speak to our mission, but it speaks to our values. It speaks to who we are as a learning community. You believe your child can achieve anything. You guys know I get emotional. Let me start over. You believe your child can achieve anything. So do we. Our CEO coined that phrase, by the way.
That's great.
Learning without limits. Okay. Extraordinary schools, extraordinary outcomes. Let me say it a little clearer. Extraordinary schools, extraordinary outcomes. Dr. Knowles, you are sitting in a place and space that nearly 30 years ago, no one could imagine would even exist. But because of, you see the individuals in this room, you see the powerhouse that you're sitting next to, we think about our chairman and founder, Donald L. Hintz. There is a place and space where children are not required, they're not encouraged. In fact, just the opposite. They are taught to think outside the box. And so bringing leaders like you face to face with our leaders, with our students and our community is simply what Friendship does. And we are so grateful that you took time to join us, because we need people in this movement who believe as we believe.
Thank you.
CEO Brantley, do you have any final words?
There's been so much said today about the importance of a child and their interest and their passions and what parents can do. And when I think about the thread that ran through all of your responses, it was about exposure, about expanding the world for your child, about learning what it is that they would do and how you can help. I think about you talking about the size of America versus the size and the population of the world. Even the example of the box. We are in Washington, D.C., and you will hear people say, we haven't gone to the museums, but they're here and they will expand your child's world. We are in this room, but you had us think about getting out of that box and walking around it and how much more opportunity there is. And so for me, it goes back to the question, so you think your child has talent? The response is now. You can make sure that their world is expanded so that talent can be seen. So thank you, Dr. Knowles, for helping us think about
this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I know we are wrapping up, but if you want to give us, Dr. Knowles, just one last word as we wish you a great tomorrow, but we will see you there.
Oh, great.
Because we are all excited about Destiny's Child Remix. But I would love to have you end with the last word.
I'm just very happy to be here. I'll share something with you. I'm not actually supposed to be here. On Monday will be 3 weeks that I had a 2.5-hour surgery. I did a routine. I'm about health and wellness, so I'm pretty open about breast cancer and male breast cancer. I did a routine colonoscopy, and I encourage at that age that you do. I had a polyp that was engaged in my appendix. So I had my appendix removed, and a small portion, fortunately, gratefully, of my polyp colon removed. And I kind of slipped and tell the doctor I was doing this because I just didn't want to let you down. And so I'm here. Fortunately, the biopsy was non-cancerous.
All right.
So thank you.
Before Before we go, can we give Dr. Knowles a resounding round of applause?
Thank you very much.
Thank you for all you do.
Have a wonderful day.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Are we doing
awesome? Yes. Thank you so much. I can.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time on the air.